Hey, what's going on guys? Oscarmini here, and this is the TECNO Spark 5 Pro, yet another budget smartphone from the brand that meets a lot of needs as far as the low budget segment is concerned. It in fact takes all the features found on the TECNO Spark 5, which was sometime reviewed on this channel, and adds some incremental upgrades. This is going to be a quick review, and so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. First off, let's start with the box as usual. This box looks almost identical to the regular Spark 5, and on opening the box for the first time we get to see the smartphone itself. The next layer reveals the TPU case and the warranty card. In terms of accessories, you get a 10-watt charger, a micro USB cable and an earphone, not forgetting the SIM ejector found to the corner of the box. In terms of the build and design, everything here feels familiar, and the smartphone itself is made out of plastic and a design that looks like some flagship device from earlier this year. In terms of the ports and accessories, the bottom from left to right has the down-firing speaker, mouthpiece opening, micro USB port and a 3.5mm jack port, while the top remains bland as that's been the trend with the brand. While you get a dual SIM tray with a dedicated micro USB port to the left side, the right side houses the volume rocker keys and the power button. The rear has a quad camera setup which looks very much like the Povo 4 Pro and Camon 15 in terms of specs, and also you get to see the LED flash at the rear, not forgetting the fingerprint sensor too. At the front is the large display with slightly thick chin and bezels, and also the front facing camera to the top left corner of the display in that cutout. So generally for build quality, this is pretty much about the standard for the price and nothing to complain about. One major upgrade you get on this phone when compared to the regular Spark 5 is the processing capability. On here in this variant, I have a 4GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage, and also the MediaTek Helio A25 processor. There is a 3GB and 64GB variant too. I'm not gonna say this is the fastest processor there is, but what I can say here is it handles a lot of budget smartphone computing tasks efficiently, and this can pretty much run a lot of apps than the Spark 5 in the background, which is better multitasking, and also with more storage, you can store a lot more on this device. You also get to see Android 10 on the Spark 5 Pro, and this is bundled with iOS 6.1, which has features such as dark mode for less eye strain on the display. Speaking of the display, nothing has changed here as you get the same 6.6-inch HD dot-in display with a resolution of 720 by 1600. This is definitely bright enough for media consumption. And one aspect I really love about this TECNO budget device's display from 2020 is how huge and immersive they are. 266 ppi density and a 20:9 aspect ratio of what you get here too. This display under direct sunlight might struggle a tad bit, but it is definitely usable. Speakers are loud but not the most bass heavy, and also not a dual speaker configuration, while the microphones are really clear when you take phone calls or audio recordings. For the batteries, you get a 5000 mAh capacity, perfect fit for anyone who is in search of a budget device that will take them through 2 days of use. Although this largely depends on your use, this smartphone definitely would take a whole lot of persons beyond a day. Charging from 0 to 100% takes about 2.5 hours using the 10-watt charger included in the box. And once more, the battery is a major reason why a lot of people would pick up one of these. So over to the cameras. The rear has a quad configuration with 16MP main lens, 2MP macro, 2MP depth sensor and an AI lens. The front sensor on the other hand is an 8MP shooter. For how the photos look, they are definitely better than what you get from the Spark 5. These photos are passable for social media posts, decent dynamic range, and also this largely depends on good lighting. When that's taken away, the photos begin to suffer. So piece of advice here, the photos from this device are best when taken under good lighting condition. For the videos, you get up to 1080p resolution from both the front and rear cameras. I did not notice any form of stabilization here though. Colors from the video are not as washed out as I had expected for a lot of devices around this price. Hey, what's going on guys, Oscarmini here, and here's a front facing camera video test for the TECNO Spark 5 Pro. So I want you guys to tell me what you think about the color reproduction and also the sound quality coming off this device. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section. What do you think? You can easily pick up the TECNO Spark 5 Pro in the 3GB of RAM and 64GB of ROM anywhere around 54,000 Naira, roughly $135. For the maxed out version, which I have here, you should expect this for around 63,000 naira. I'd have the updated pricing in the description box below. So what's my final take on the Spark 5 Pro? For the Pro, as the name implies, it feels like a step in the right direction, with the noticeable upgrades being in the cameras and processing power. One more thing to take note of here is, if you need the best experience with the Spark 5 Pro, pick the 4GB and 128GB ROM variant, as that's just the way to go. There you have it, my quick review of the TECNO Spark 5 Pro. Do not forget to like, share and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already. Other than that is goodbye, and I'ma catch you in the next one. Cuídate.